Hello, I'm EG, and this is Crocheting with EG, and in this video, I'm going to give a tour of my new updated reorganized yarn room. I was going to say, like, in the short that I posted, yesterday or this morning or whatever, but by the time this video comes out, it was like over a month ago. I said like my yarn room 3.0, because like this was like my yarn wall 2.0, so. And now it's just sort of like, it's not just a wall, it's like a room now. So it's my yarn room 3.0. I guess that's what I'm going to call it. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to give a tour, like a sort of a detailed tour of my ridiculous, but like beautiful, I love this room, an organized yarn room 3.0. I hate to sort of say it in some narcissistic way that like my room looks really nice and it's really organized and stuff, but it is. I mean, it looks so nice. And so the main thing I did was all these white shelves right here that had the clear drawers. I replaced with this black shelf. I did go ahead and get that black shelf from Walmart. It was a pain in the ass putting together, but I'll get to it. But and it was a 37 something plus tax. So it was like $40 and you know, some odd cents or whatever. And so I got that shelf, and it fits perfectly there. I did have to move this shelf just slightly, which was a pain in the ass too. So I mean, it was a pain to like do all this stuff in this room. But you know, so it felt like a job, but like the payoff is just so worth it. Like and I got to actually take the time and group my yarns together, and it's organized. Like, you know, I have my own little section for cotton and section for, you know, some of the like the soft secret and like whatever. It's all kind of organized now. It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna put all my, you know, random yarns that I find at Hobby Lobby up in this corner over here, or like what. They're all kind of like grouped together for the most part, and it's gonna be a lot nicer working in here and stuff. So anyway, so this is just sort of like a sort of a random video. So as far as the random things, one thing I did was I put a hook in my ceiling right here, and I actually made the hook because I thought, why spend $5 on, you know, like a set of hooks on my on Amazon or whatever, when I have. It's basically just like a hook on a screw, and I have a screw, and then I have some moldable plastic, and what I'm going to hang there, which I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, is it's not going to be like really heavy. And so I thought I can screw a screw into my ceiling or whatever, and then like make the hook with the moldable plastic. And I should have done it on camera so you could see that, but I kind of made it. And so I made a hook, and of course it's not perfect looking, but like it's just a hook for, you know, the thing that I'm going to make. And I'll show like a little preview of it, or maybe, I don't know, but you'll kind of get an idea of like what's going to go there. It's something that I've been planning for a while, like, or in my head. I just thought I wanted to do it, but I haven't done it yet. So, but I do have all the materials. I just need to do it. Now I have the hook, like the perfect spot for that. So I did put a hook there, and it's going to be really cool. Now, I'm gonna like put it in its own video or whatever, and show like the progress of it and stuff and whatever. But anyway. But another one of the things was I went to this. This is sort of like random. I went to this or it's not a thrift store. It's an antique store in my town. I hadn't been there for years, but I decided to go in there because I also like to look for like Beatles stuff for my mom, or like Lucy stuff for me, or just like to, you know, look around at some of the stuff they have. And they did have like some sort of random crafty kind of things in there, but like it was an antique store, so they didn't, like, if they would have had yarn in there, I wouldn't have gotten it because it would have been like antique yarn, like old yarn or something. But that antique store in my town is so big. Like from the outside you would never think it was this big, and there was all these, you felt like you were in a maze or something. I felt like I was gonna get lost in there. There were all these like little rooms, and like back and through here, and like it just, you would like turn a corner and there would be like, you know, 2 more rooms, and it just all these, it was gorgeous stuff in there. But I didn't buy anything that day. But they did have this pretty room that had like some, it looked like vintage clothes or whatever. And I thought it was like so funny that there were 2 bed jackets in there. Like I made my mom that bed jacket or whatever, and then we go to this antique store, and then there's real bed jackets in there. Although when I touched them, they were like kind of flimsy or whatever, and like I'm glad that I made that bed jacket because it's gonna like keep her a lot warmer or whatever. They were those ones in there. They just look kind of like flimsy and almost see-through. They looked kind of decorative more than like the idea in my head that sort of made a bed jacket not like a ridiculous thing where it sort of keeps your upper half warm when you're like underneath a blanket or whatever. So I'm glad that I made one, because those wouldn't have kept my mom warm at all. It would have made it look really pretty or whatever, but like they were just kind of like these decorative bed jackets. But I thought, I haven't seen a bed jacket other than the one on Andy Griffith or whatever. I haven't seen one like out in the wild ever. And so then I go to an antique store, and then there's like 2 of them that they were like on these little mannequin things or whatever. I thought, there's 2 bed jackets right there. It was just like hilarious. But yeah, I wouldn't have got them in. They were expensive too. They were like, one of them was like $30. I didn't see the other one because it was kind of like higher up on this shelf. But $30 for that. I know it was vintage and everything. It was an antique store, but whatever. It's like cheap compared to some of the other prices in there, but whatever. And then this is sort of random, or this is all random. But I went to Hobby Lobby, and of course you're not gonna know like what days these are. But today's Monday. But I went to Hobby Lobby on a Friday. It was the day I had filmed the last video I had posted. Have filmed, and so I went in there, and but they did have 3 more skeins of that string, and I mean it's gorgeous yarn. It's just so thin, and like the funny thing that I want to do with it or whatever for those movies that I'll talk about in the future, with these characters that I came up with, but like I do want to use it for something like that, but like, you know, at the same time I was looking at it, and it says that it recommends a 4mm crochet hook. I thought it was going to be like that micro crochet, the kind of stuff you'd have to use like a really teeny tiny crochet hook, like the one that my mom said that my grandma used to use. She crocheted, but what she crocheted with like those really pretty white doilies and stuff, and that she'd starch them so that they laid flat and everything. My mom said that she used to use those teeny tiny crochet hooks. I don't think she ever crocheted anything like with a 5.5 and like crocheted blankets or whatever. She crocheted like, you know, micro crochet like doilies and stuff. Like I thought that's what this yarn would be like. That it's Lion Brand Mandala or Mandala or whatever. Those and it's just called string. I mean, they're gorgeous, and it's 100% acrylic. But I thought that's what that would be. But if you're supposed to use a 4mm crochet hook, then, you know, I could probably, you know, use it for actual crochet. But I just feel like I want to save this for like something really crazy. I mean, I'm gonna waste this feels like some kind of luxury yarn, but to me, but like I'm probably gonna waste the intended use for this on like something just really ridiculous and creative, but whatever. So I'm probably gonna waste this for if you're somebody that just like, oh my god, that's like the Mandala String, that's like something you're like really like to somebody like you might think, oh, you're wasting it on that, but like to me it's like it's not wasted. But anyway, because like the regular price of this is $7.99 for this tiny little thing. And also, it's probably because it's not their brand, you know, it's Lion Brand. So maybe that's why it was higher priced. But the discount, I didn't pay $7.99 for this. God, can you imagine? I would never. But the reduced price, you know, the clearance price was $1.99. And this colorway is called Harmony. Gorgeous. This reminds me of like unicorn, like the stereotypical like unicorn colors nowadays. Because my niece loves unicorns and stuff. Like those kind of like blues and purples and pinks and stuff. Like that kind of unicorn swirly looking. The colors of like it sort of reminds you of like the unicorn colors, if you know what I'm talking about. And it's just like really beautiful colors. And then this one right here. This one is actually cheaper. Maybe because it had like earth tones or something, but this one was $1.62, and this has some greens and the different shades of green and some blue. Oh, there's in the middle, it's really pretty too, and some browns. But the colorway is called Country, so that's what the colorway of this one is called. But really nice. I mean, there's earth tones in here, but there's also some really pretty vivid colors in here, like these greens and blues in the middle. Really gorgeous yarn. I hate to like sort of waste it the way I'm going to waste it, but it's not wasting it, because, you know, it's something that I'm really going to be proud of. But anyway, so there's that one, and then this one, and I feel like it's the other one that I got, or maybe it's just similar. No, I think this is different. This one's called Beats, like Beats, and so like, you know, music beats, not like like the TV reference in my head is the Beats from Doug, you know, like the Beatles, but it's the you know what I'm saying, the Beats, like the band that, you know, Doug left, whatever. So Beats, and so there's like some shades of green and some orange and pink and purple, and just like another really gorgeous skein. This one was $1.99. So they did have these 3, and like I could have left these because I'm not going to use them for what they're intended to be used for, to probably make like really delicate, beautiful doilies or like whatever you're supposed to make with this. But like I can't pass up these kinds of yarns for it's for hair, like for you know, something. But but I'm also gonna use them. I might try to make some micro crochet because it will kind of fit in with what I'm thinking of that I'm working on. But anyway, oh, and then this one, the regular price was $6.49. The one that was cheaper. So anyway, so I'm going to use this, just not for anything. Oh, look at this beautiful crocheted bandana, or this really delicate airy scarf, or shawl. That's not what I'm going to use this for, but I will use it on something really cool and creative. And if if I'm going to use crochet and not just use it for what I'm intending it to be used for, I'll have an excuse to show it on camera or whatever. But that's what I bought that yarn for. Anyway, and so I went there Hobby Lobby on Friday, and that's when I found the 3 skeins. And so then later on in the evening, I went out later on to because I sort of hesitated. I went to Walmart and I sort of hesitated to get this shelf because I thought, am I gonna actually go through the effort of having to move, because it was such a job to clean out that corner and put those shelves over there in that corner, at what I'm pointing at, extending my yarn storage in here. It was such a job to do that, and I thought, do I really want to take the time to move these white shelves and stuff, and then I knew that I would have to take these 2 shelves right here and push them an inch or 2 just to make room for that shelf. And so I sort of hesitated. I thought I'm not even looking forward to doing that right now, because it's going to be a job to actually do that just to make room for that shelf. But I thought I might as well do it, because over there is going to be looking really nice and stuff, and everything else is looking really nice, and I just hate those shelves with the way the drawers are and stuff. And so I went ahead and bought it. And so I brought the shelf home and everything, and I put it together. And of course, it's one of those cheap shelves from Walmart, and you haven't to put it together and stuff. And it was a nightmare. I was gonna do all this on camera, setting up I'm building the shelf, and then and reorganizing all the yarn and stuff. But thank God I didn't, because I was getting so pissed. I get so pissed off when I have to do shit sorry. Oh God. That's how pissed off I am that that came out. I get so pissed off and frustrated when stuff like this is going on, and not having room right here to lay out the boards and stuff, and trying to decipher which screws are which, and all this stuff. And then those cam screws or whatever, those round screws that go in there, and then you put the little post in there and you have to screw it. One of them just didn't twist right or whatever. The one cam screw just wasn't right. There was something wrong with it. And so I had another one. I put that in there, but I still went ahead and put some staples, because I felt I'm not even sure if that cam screw is the right kind of screw, the right size. So it's screwed, but I just feel it wasn't the one that came with the shelf. So I went ahead and, just to make sure, to make myself feel better, I put some extra, I put some staples on the corner of it just to make sure. But everything else is fine. All the rest of the screws are fine. But anyway, so it's one of those that goes in, it's this round pre-drilled hole, and you stick it in there, and then from the side, the little post goes in there, and then you're supposed to screw it in. It's supposed to be really tight, but that one just was too loose, and it looked like it wasn't formed right, the little cam screw. So luckily I had another one, but whatever, just to make sure. I used the staples, but anyway, so I put that shelf together and everything, and because I was just sort of, as much as I wasn't looking forward to doing all this stuff in my room, because I knew what a pain it would be to move that shelf. I need to stop leaning on my table. I wanted to go ahead and get it done because I was too excited about it at the same time. And so I went to the I came home, and so I moved those shelves right here, which was kind of a nightmare, and moved that out, and then and then these white shelves, all the way on the top, those 3 shelves have always kind of looked like they were leaning a little bit, and I was thinking maybe it's the weight of the yarn, but if you really look at it, there's not a whole lot of yarn on these white shelves. I know you're not supposed to stack them up as high as I do, but there isn't a whole lot of yarn on here to make it lean. And so I just always, it kind of bothered me those top 3 were just kind of leaning out just a little bit, not like this, but they're sort of leaning out. And I found out why, because I moved these shelves and stuff, and I was looking at it from the side, this way, and I thought, what the hell? I braced them so well that when I pulled the one of the strings or whatever to brace it to the screws that are on this wall, I pulled it so hard that the shelf, the third shelf down or whatever, where it's supposed to go into the little grooves, it was like this. Like, I pulled it so hard to, like, you know, brace it because I didn't want anything to happen to these, and I didn't want them to fall and collapse. Like, I pulled it so hard that it actually lifted the shelf up off the thing. So that's why they were leaning. They weren't leaning because of the damn weight. They were leaning because I pulled it up, and it was, like, sort of floating there in the back. Anyway, 19 minutes. But I thought, like, how stupid was that? I mean, so I took my scissors and I just, like, cut the little thing, and then they just went, like they sort of fell in place, like, where they were supposed to be before I, like, you know, braced them extra hard. So I thought, how stupid. I thought it was leaning because of the weight, but it was just the damn, the way I did it. I braced it too hard. I was just, like, when I brace things in here, I like, you know, I pull the strings, like, really tight. I don't want anything to, like, fall or whatever. I'm, like, really safe, and apparently too safe, because I could have, like, taken all these shelves out, and then those other ones would have been just floating up there because it was just so tied on there so hard, but whatever, it was just so dumb. And so but whatever. And so I moved those shelves out, and then I put that black shelf there, and just, like, reorganized everything and all that, and it was a job. It took all weekend. Thank God I didn't think that to film it. I'm sorry that there's not, like, a lot of footage, but I do film a lot of, like, you know, reorganizing videos and stuff, or, like, putting yarn away, and those are sort of, like, long and involved and stuff. But, like, this would have been way too long because it basically took me all weekend to do all this stuff in this room, and some of it was, like, frustrating. You wouldn't have wanted to see that on camera, because, like, or like trying to put those shelves together. I mean, and like the backing on those shelves, it's basically what keeps it together and stable is the cardboard backing. Yeah, there's, like, all those screws and stuff, but, like, if you don't put the cardboard backing on it, it's gonna, you know, start, like, rocking and leaning or whatever. And I use the little nails and all that kind of stuff, but still, what I like to do is I have a staple gun, like the big staples, not like those sort of flimsy ones, like the big staple gun, and I go along all the edges too. Like I pound in all the nails, and I do the staples too. It adds extra stability. I do that with every single one of those shelves, because all my shelves are like those cheap kind of shelves or whatever. I don't buy, like, really expensive, like, you know, solid oak kind of, like, all of mine are those kind that have, like, the cardboard backing on the back that gives it the stability. And so I take the time to, like, put some staples around the edges too to keep it extra stable. There's no way that I could do like this and it would never collapse. But I was just getting so frustrated you know, putting that shelf together and all that. But I did when I moved that shelf there, I did get to move this without taking all of the yarn off. I took some of the yarn off the top, and then and then when I was, like, pushing it like over there into that corner, I was thinking, like, why isn't the top one going? And I thought, it's because I braced it, idiot. So, like, I was trying to push this this shelf, and, like, the bottom one, it doesn't have any bracing on it because it's so solid and whatever. It's this top one that has all the bracing and everything. And so I was pushing it from the bottom, like, with my legs, you know, after I took some of the weight of the yarn off. And, like, the bottom was going, but then the top was just sort of, like, staying there and just sort of moving on the top. And I thought, why the hell isn't the top moving? And it was just sort of, like, getting all cockeyed and stuff. It's because I braced it. So I had to, like, cut the wire and redo the bracing of this shelf. Because I don't know, I braced it. I brace them too good sometimes. But that's a good thing, but whatever. So I finally, like, you know, pushed it all the way flush to this wall or whatever, and it made, like, the perfect amount of room. And also, it kind of, like, not that I need to adding stability to this, but these shelves that are on top of each other, having this like right up against here is creating some extra stability for these two. But, you know, like I said, I brace them so damn much. I could probably pull one of these out and they'd probably just be floating there because all the string and stuff behind there. But whatever. Anyway, so. And this is, like, I think this is probably the last random thing. But, like, when I went to Walmart to get the shelf, they did have, this is not it has nothing to do with crochet, but I've mentioned, like, you know, my niece loving Wednesday or whatever, and they have this, like, Wednesday official paper doll book. This is really cool. Of course, she hasn't seen this yet, but I did get this for her. I think it was like $12 or something. This wasn't on sale or anything, but, you know, it's for my niece, so it doesn't really matter. But it's really cool, and it reminds me of, like, the paper dolls that I was going to say that they had when I was growing up, that I used to have when I was growing up. I think I have, like, an I Love Lucy paper doll thing, or no, I think it's magnetized. But my mom used to have paper dolls, and I remember paper dolls, but they're really cool. They have, like, little tabs, and then you, like, flip or, like, fold them over the pictures, and so you can, like, play, you know what paper dolls are if you're watching these videos. But anyway, so I got that from my niece, and otherwise, oh, and then one more thing, like when I went around town, and the day I went, it was Saturday, I went to that antique store and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to go to that little thrift store that had those two skeins of yarn and then the two little balls, just to see if they had any new yarn or whatever. But they have such weird hours. They just opened like a couple months ago or whatever, and they have such screwed up hours. But then they were also closed because of Labor Day weekend, and so it's bad enough that they closed at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but then they were just completely closed like all weekend. So I didn't get to go back in there. But they didn't really have much yarn in there. Not that I would have. I mainly wanted to go in there to look at their DVDs and books and all that kind of stuff. No, next, the one, it was a store that I got that Rugrats pencil case in. It's just like it's neat to have like another thrift store to go into, but they were closed. And then I went to Salvation Army, and I didn't get very much, but this is just sort of a random thing. But they had 2 skeins of yarn in their little craft section, and they were $1.99 a piece. I didn't get them, of course, because it's a crappy deal. And then one of them was like the anti-pilling skein. It was a black anti-pilling skein from Walmart, like the mainstays, which I know is not even that much more expensive than that. So I just thought like an old skein of yarn for $1.99. That's ridiculous. I can get them, $1.24 at Hobby Lobby, and it's all variegated and beautiful. So you know what I'm saying. So I thought that's not. I'm not gonna get that. And then they had like Karen's Simply Soft, and so that was $1.99. Didn't get that either. I mean, I know it looks like all I do is just like, buy every skein of yarn that I see out there, but there are many times that I've seen yarn out there. Of course, it's mainly when it's like, not a good deal, but like I've seen yarn out in the wild many times. I just don't buy it, but I don't come on here and say, oh, hey everybody, I just wanted to do this video to tell you that I saw a whole bunch of yarn, but I didn't get any of it. Isn't this video interesting? Like and subscribe, comment down below. Like I don't come on here to like, make videos, and talk about the yarn that I see that I don't buy. I talk about the yarn that I do buy, but I actually do see yarn out there in the wild that I just don't buy. And I've talked about it a couple of random times, like when I see it in Goodwill and it's like some ridiculous price or whatever, or like Salvation Army even, or like whatever. But like the acrylics and like all the yarn at Hobby Lobby that is like brand new yarn and like a really good deal, 75% off. Yeah, I'll grab it, because who could pass up 75% off on yarn or whatever? I mean, even if I don't know what I'm going to use it for yet, I would hate to be in the situation where like, I want to make something and then I'm thinking, oh, I know the perfect yarn for this, but where did I see that? Oh yeah, crap, it was in that the remnant section, and I didn't get it because I thought like, I don't need any more yarn, but that was only $1.24, and now I have to go there and pay full price, or for me it was probably 30% off. No, I would have to wait for the next week for it to be 30% off or like whatever. So I buy the yarn because like I can't pass up on a good deal on yarn, like 75% off. But just know that I could pass up on yarn, but like the yarn deals like 75% off, especially at Hobby Lobby. You'd have to be an idiot to pass it up if you can afford it or whatever. Like, and I have the room. It's not like my house is being overtaken with yarn or whatever, and I just have like tons of boxes, and it's like some hoarder situation. This room, which I'm about to show you, is so. I hate to sort of say it like in some bragging way or whatever, but like this room is so beautiful and cozy, and just I love how everything is all organized and stuff. I'm really proud of this room. I'm saying it not in a way to brag, but I'm saying it in a way of like, because I'm really proud of myself, how nice this room is and how organized it is. And so that's the only reason why I'm saying that. So I'll show you how the room is all organized and stuff now. So anyway. Okay, so this is my yarn wall, 3.0 technically. And then yarn room, I don't know, that's probably sort of like 1.0, but I'm sort of making it like 3.0. So this is my wall, and so like these right here, all of these are the same. So those are all the same. And then the only thing that's sort of different over here is I had to make room for these over here. These, what are they called? True Colors. Like right there, those were that was the cube that had a bunch of the hometown skeins or whatever, and all that. So I moved those down here to the bottom where the Soft Secret was, and so I moved all those down there, put a couple extra skeins in there, and so that's where all those are next to those that match. And then all the rest of this is the same, except for I did move the Breathe Deep from that one shelf that was up here to here, and then I put the blue one next to it. But otherwise, I kind of organized this area a little bit too. differently. But of course the main thing is this shelf here. And so I this is where I put the necklace thing that I made with the keychains on it, and then V for Vicky 3232, and then I sort of like spread these out instead of like having them all connected to each other like these big twist, the Joanne keychains. And then this is where my logo tapestry is. And then I did hang up that magnet, the deal magnet or whatever, because I just thought it was like kind of cool. And so then I put all my except for these are the pencil skeins right here. I did put all my metallic sparkly yarns and stuff there, except for the ones that are the chenille, like for scrunchies and stuff. But I could have put those like right up here instead of the pencil skeins, but I just thought I'll leave all those down there with all the scrunchy yarn or whatever. But so that's where all my metallics are. And then I hate that these are like cockeyed or whatever, but there's so much space there that they're not going to like be in a perfect row, because I wanted to push this shelf like flush with this, to add some stability. And so it's a little cockeyed there, and it just feels like there's all this like wasted space there, but that's just me. And so I put all those up there. I did put 4 extras down there on the bottom shelf, but that's where all of those are now. And then like these are like some of my variegated acrylics, and there. And then these are like the bitty stripes, except for this pastel that I gotten at Walmart. But so these are like where my bitty stripes are, and then this is where all of those special yarns are, like the Picasso rainbow, and like all the sort of like eyelash yarns, and that little puff yarn, and that skein that I got from free from Goodwill, and like those really nice hanks of yarn that I got at the Big Mark down at Hobby Lobby. So like this is sort of like my specialty yarn area. And then like facets from Michaels, and so by moving that there, it sort of freed up this area here. And so like I could sort of spread these out, because there's all these like gaps now, because I did kind of like have to push them in there, and they were all like scrunched up in there. And so with that gone, I can kind of spread these out, and so that's where my little tiny skeins are. And then up there, what I moved from here is like my pearl spun. I moved that on the other side of the room so that I can like just kind of spread out my chunky yarn. And then all those up there, those are the soft and sleek. All those are the regular soft and sleek, and then all of those except for those top 2 here are the regular. One of them is the chunky and one is like a baby, and then all the 6 up there are the chunky soft and sleek. So all those are there. So I don't have like a bunch of like thin yarns and stuff in that corner, and it's just all the soft and sleek. And like my primaries are the same. Or I did put the sport weight up there, even though they're not like the primary colors, because that's where most of the primary color sport weight is. And so I just went ahead and put those up there, just get those out of the way. And then down here, I kind of, because I had extra room here for some of my variegated colors, I got to sort of spread out my other variegated colors. And so that's what this shelf is. And then this shelf, because like I was afraid that if I put any more in there, they'd start like getting all smashed or whatever. But now they can sort of like breathe or whatever. I mean, not like they're alive, but you know what I'm saying. They can kind of like, they have a little bit of a space in there to breathe. And then I still have my solids down here, or some of them. And then I got to, because I moved some of my variegated colors, I got to spread out my chenille velvet kind of yarns. And so they're not all like jammed packed in there or anything. There's like extra room in there for them and stuff. So these are like where they're really nice. Like there's one, those crushed velvet that I got at Goodwill. That's where they are. And it's just like that extra one, which isn't the crushed, it's velvet, but it's not that crushed velvet. And then there's like the sparkle ones and stuff. And those are the ones like from Dollar Tree. And then all the rest of them are those ones from probably Hobby Lobby, every single one of them, I think. But that's what they're all the. So I have 2 shelves of those now instead of the 1. And there aren't any behind any of these skeins. The only place in this room where there's some yarn behind yarn is where my niece's yarn is, but I'll get to that. But otherwise, all the yarn is showing, so none of it is behind any. So that's a really good thing, because I have a lot of space in here now. And then this shelf down here, these are just like the cakes of yarn that were in that drawer, and then some more variegated colors and all that kind of stuff. And then this shelf down here, these are the ones that were in those drawers that, or these are for my sweater, those black skeins, and then there's 4 extra of those. And then these, see, like even these, I'd put these in my my bag with my whips. And so like these right here, but I thought I can put them on my wall now. And so those are the ones for my niece's throw blanket that I want to add to the sides of her throw blanket. And then it's going to be bigger than a throw blanket now because she's grown up so much. And then these are the skeins that were in that drawer that were going to be for my fall blanket, or that are going to be for my fall blanket. So I have those all displayed. And so that's what this side of the room looks like. Let me get my big ass up off the floor. And then as far as my niece's tower goes, I did move the wait a minute. You can get a little glimpse of something. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's going to be hanging. But I did move my laundry basket and just, I'm going to store it on top of my washing machine. And so I put a little plastic box there, and then I like stuffed it full of yarn. And there's a couple skeins behind these ones that are showing. So like a couple extra skeins are behind these in this box. So, and I even put like the little the decoration around it just to let her know that these are hers. But so that's the only place in this room where yarn is behind something. And so, and then of course her tower, her wall or whatever. And so that's pretty much the same. And then here, I'll show you just like another little quick glimpse. Wonder what that's gonna be. Okay. So this is like where the screw is. I mean the hook is. So I made that with moldable plastic. So that's up there for whatever that's gonna be. But anyway, and so then this is the side of the room. And so, like on this bottom shelf, I put my whips, or that throw blanket that I'm making that has like camouflage colors. That's there. The yarn from that, and then I took it out of the bag because it wouldn't fit there otherwise. And then that moss stitch throw blanket, and then the yarn from my mom's blanket. And then otherwise, I just kind of left those big skeins there. And then those are the solids, and then more solids because I have a lot of solids now. And then this is where all of the soft secret is because I have a lot of that. Oh, and then that skein that was all messed up. That I forget what color it is, gold or whatever it was. That skein that was really messed up. It looked like somebody just pulled both ends and stretched it all out. I just rolled it into a ball. It was really easy. I was shocked at how easy it was to because it was just such a mess. But it was so like simple. I found the center pull and I just rolled it into a ball. It was really easy. So I really lucked out with that. I thought it was gonna be a clumped up mess, and I had it like behind there. But it's really nice. And so and then I did save one of those shelves, but I still hate those damn shelves. But I did save those. That has my makes in it, and it has like all the balls of yarn in it, like extra balls, and some other stuff. And then all my little tiny skeins. And then those are like bags of keychains up there. And then like the fabric like for pom-poms and my little abacus counter thing. And then this has my beads and stuff in it. And then over here, I'm just going to leave that there. And then once I get the prod stuff done, then I'll be able to put yarn there if I need to. But I might just leave that there to store yarn on or something. But anyway, and so over here, this is all my cotton. And so like all the skeins of cotton or whatever. And then this shelf right here, it sort of has like sort of a mix of like what was over there in the top corner of my shelf. It has like my pearl spun here, and then like those thin yarns, those DK and like fur yarns and stuff, and some of these like yarntopias and like the string, which like all the string yarn, which I'm gonna put away now on this shelf. And it's so deep that like I have to kind of make sure I don't push it too hard because it can actually go back in there. There's a lot of room back in there, shockingly enough. But anyway, let me put those away there. Don't fall. Okay, crap. All right. There's that. And then down there on that shelf, those are all of those, what are they? Baby Sweet Delight, those Sweet Delight skeins. So that's that shelf. And then this, I went ahead and kept this shelf too because it has like some of my makes and all that kind of stuff in it. And then this is the bag of my makes. So I'm going to keep this here because it kind of fits perfectly like right there. And then if I need to get over there in this corner, I can just move it out of the way. And then because it's really simple. And like what I put on that bottom shelf, there's the mohair and all that kind of stuff from that haul. But then I also took the yarn out of those cubes, then like my mom's old yarn and like that scrap thing I was working on, and I just kind of put all that yarn in there just to get it out of the way, and so it's not in a bunch of random cubes I don't know what to do with. So I just kind of stuffed all that stuff in there. But anyway, and so there's that, and then of course my blankets there. Those heads are still behind there, with those. There's knotted pillows, and then the rug that I made on the floor, and so I just think it's really nice, and everything's just nice and neat and organized and stuff, and I don't know, just. I'm really happy with it, and I don't mean it in a way like I'm bragging or whatever, but I just love that how nice it looks and how everything is nice and organized. There's like a very specific place for every kind of yarn. So that's what it looks like. My ridiculous but wonderful, inspiring, beautiful yarn wall, and now yarn room. Okay, so I guess that's basically all for this video, and I hope you enjoyed I hope you enjoyed all the random things I was talking about, and then I hope you enjoyed looking at my, finished, reorganized yarn room and stuff. And just know that, like, when I show my yarn room like this, I don't mean to, I'm not showing it to say, like, oh, look at all this yarn, and look how organized I am, like, in some sort of bragging way. I'm hoping that, I am, I do love it to the point where I do want to brag about it, but I also, I'm hoping that, like, me showing me organizing stuff or whatever, those long videos where you just see me like putting yarn on shelves or like putting up shelves or like whatever. I'm hoping that this is going to inspire you to take your love of crochet and yarn and stuff like I have, and to like kind of honor it in some way, and like help you to give you ideas to how to organize your yarn and stuff. Because it's so much fun to do. It can be a job, but at the same time, like the end result is so nice, and you have no idea how inspiring and how comforting it is to be in this room or whatever. Like my mom even says it. Like my brother, he was even talking about how he hasn't seen the extent of how organized it is now. And like my sister-in-law, like everybody, my niece, like laying on the floor, just staring up at my yarn wall in awe. And this was like weeks ago. Like it's such a beautiful room, and I don't mean that in some narcissistic way. It's beautiful. It's inspiring, and it feels really good to be organized, and not just like for any kind of aspect of your life. It feels really good to be organized, and I'm such a disorganized, chaotic mess, especially in my head. And so to have this room and have all this yarn, but yet it's nice and neat and organized and stuff. It makes it where, because like I'm sure I'm not the only crafter that is sort of disorganized and stuff. And like in chaos sometimes when you're trying to like do things and trying to find this glue stick or like this whatever. I'm sure I'm not the first crafter that feels like really disorganized or whatever, and so I have taken the time to actually organize all of this yarn or whatever, and I'm really proud of it. And I hope that like me showing these videos and stuff, it's not just going to be like, oh, you're just bragging about how much yarn you have, or you're just showing all this yarn, or like sort of bragging about how pretty your yarn room is. I'm hoping that this is going to inspire you to try to organize your own yarn, and hopefully give you some ideas of like, because like. I'm not made of money. I'm not going out and buying like a bunch of expensive cube shelves, or like I'm buying like cheap stuff from Dollar Tree, or like finding them at thrift stores or like whatever. And you can do this. You can organize your yarn or whatever, and I hope that like that's what you're getting from these videos. That of course, I hope you appreciate and love how beautiful the yarn is and stuff, and you like looking at it all organized. But I hope that I at least inspire you to find ways to organize your own yarn room or yarn rack, or like even if you just have like a small stash or whatever. I hope you have taken something like from my videos and think, oh, what would be perfect is some of those like white bins right here, and maybe I'll go to my Dollar Tree and I'll get me some too, because that'd be the perfect thing for my yarn. Like I hope that I inspire you to like you just have fun organizing your yarn, and it feels really good. Like before I had this like yarn room all organized and stuff, like in this room, it was my laundry room, but like there were all these boxes in the middle of the floor with all my yarn in it and stuff. It was just total chaos, and I was like, where's that third skein of that thing? It was such a mess, and that kind of like takes you out of like the inspirational mood that you're in, like the creative mood you're in when you're like in the middle of something and you're like crocheting. You think, oh god, now I have to go find that other skein. I don't know where it is, but like in here, I know where every one of my skeins are, and I can actually see them all and stuff. It's just, you know, I don't know. It feels really good to be so organized and stuff, and you know, it looks it looks damn good. I hate to admit that, but like, you know, I mean, I love this, like, and I'm not the only one that loves it. Like my mom loves it. Everybody just loves this room, and it's one of my favorite rooms in my house. But whatever. So I hope you enjoyed looking at, you know, this all this. I mean, it's ridiculous, but like it's so fun and colorful and stuff to look at and everything, and inspirational and creative. But whatever. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hope you're going to enjoy the video when I get done with, you know, whatever is going to be hanging there. You can probably get an idea of what it's going to be, but I'll explain what it's going to be in another video. But anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.